How's it going, everyone? For those of you wanting to pick up some physical PlayStation 4 and 5 games, Gamefly has got a tremendous pre-played blowout sale running right now where a lot of newly released games are at significant discounts. I want to break all of the deals down and talk a bit about them myself because there's a lot of good stuff here if you are, buying games from a physical side of things, and then also, if you're okay with the fact that they are pre-played games, because you're talking about a lot of recent releases seeing their most significant discounts yet, so that's always pretty great. So let's break all of the deals down. Right off the bat, I mean, this is a game that was one of the more mixed receptions of 2023 thus far, but I think it's finally at a price where I would say, hey, maybe consider giving it a shot, and that is Forspoken. It's down to $19.99. Now, I have talked to people that did end up enjoying this game. Now, some people went into playing this game thinking that it was like the worst game of all time, and it absolutely is not that. There are some elements of this game that really did, I thought were pretty bad. For example, I thought the interactions between Frey and Cuff, the tandem duo leading the helm of the story, was pretty terrible. I thought the story in general wasn't that compelling, and Frey as a whole wasn't the most engaging main character. The whole cast of characters I thought was pretty bad, but there are elements that I liked. From a visual standpoint, there are some textures that look pretty bad, but the particle effects and the magical abilities, those look great. And speaking of the magical abilities, utilizing those in combat, that's a lot of fun. The parkour gameplay, traversing around the open world, that's a lot of fun, and it's pretty enjoyable doing that. Sometimes it does feel like they're just swarming you with a lot of enemies, and that's not great, but there's some cool boss fights as well. Would I say it's worth $70? Absolutely not. Even when I initially talked about this game when it came out, I said, hey, pick this game up when it's $15 to $20. Well, guess what? It is now $20, so if it's a game you've been eyeing at for quite a while, I would say, as long as your expectations are in line, as long as you know what you're getting yourself into, you're not expecting a grandiose Square Enix narrative here, and there's still definitely a story here, it just didn't click with me, but I think the elements that do shine about this game, again, the parkour gameplay, the magical abilities, things like that, I thought were really well done. At $19.99, I think that could be a decent pickup. Next up, Resident Evil 4 Remake at $34.99. Look, if you haven't picked up the RE4 Remake at $35, this is a great price. Yes, Resident Evil 4, just like every other Resident Evil game, a little bit on the shorter side, but that's not really that big of a deal, given that RE4 is, first of all, it's a fantastic game, so even if you can complete it in 12 to 15 hours, obviously even quicker than that, if you don't take your time, but even if you can complete it in 12 to 15 hours, it's at such a high level that even for one playthrough, I would say $35 is worth it. However, Resident Evil 4 is also a game that most people, I feel like, are gonna go back and play through it multiple times. At this point, I've completed the game twice, and I'm definitely gonna go back at some point to play through the game again, but probably not anytime in the near future with all these games coming out. But for me, that was a great experience, and I had a tremendous time with RE4. I just thought it was a fantastic game that everybody should play. Even if you're not the biggest Resident Evil fan, RE4 was the game that made the franchise a lot more accessible to a lot more people back in the day when it came out on GameCube, PS2, and all those platforms, but this remake is masterfully done, and if you do take your time, do all the side content, obviously it's a fairly linear game, but there is some optional content you can delve into. It can be an 18 to 20 hour game if you really do take your time. For most people, I think it's going to be more along the line of 12 to 15, but nevertheless, $35 for RE4 I think is a pretty good deal, and I would say give it a shout. Next up, Like a Dragon Ishin, $24.99 on this. This just came out back in February, so to see it, over 50% off, I think is a pretty good deal. If you're a fan of RGG titles, you'll probably like this one as well, but yeah, $25 on that. Callisto Protocol at $19.99 on PS5. Remember, this is one of those games that did have the $10 PS5 to PS4 price differential, but $20 for the PS5 version. This is the price I think is good for Callisto Protocol. There's a lot of things I liked about this game. I thought the atmosphere was tremendous, and for a horror game, you want to create an engrossing environment, and Callisto Protocol nailed that to a T. There were some shortcomings to the game, particularly the combat I wasn't a big fan of. Some people were fine with it, but a lot of people were also on my line of thinking in that, yeah, the combat just wasn't that engaging, and how they did it Wasn't all that fun, but overall, I would say there's still a good deal of fun to be had with Callisto Protocol, and for $19.99, it's at a good enough price where I would say get it. Obviously, a bit on the shorter side as well, but, you know, not a bad price for that. Dead Island 2 Day 1 Edition, $34.99 on this. This game has been getting received a lot better than I thought it would, given that it was delayed into Infinity and beyond, but, you know, getting a pretty solid reception. This is one that I gotta sit down and play more of, but yeah, if you like zombie slaying action, $35 for that. Remember, this was also a recently released game at a price of $70, so less than 2 months later, you're getting it half off. I think that's a pretty good shout. For Dead Island 2 Day 1 Edition. God of War Ragnarok is $39.99. I mean, this has been down to $50 new, so it's not that great, but, you know, if you're one of the 2 people that have a PS5 and don't have God of War Ragnarok, you should probably go pick it up, so that's obviously a great buy. They got Hogwarts Legacy on Xbox Series for $35, which is a tremendous deal. Unfortunately, not in stock on PlayStation 5, but if you do have an Xbox Series, man, $35 for Hogwarts Legacy, that's a damn good deal, so maybe check that out. Atomic Heart's at $28. I didn't like that game at all, but, you know, it got good reviews, and maybe I'm just in the minority in this one. I thought the dialogue was an absolute abomination in this game. It did perform really well, and some of the gameplay's fun, but I wasn't crazy about that game. You know, at this price point, given that it just came out in February, it's a nice discount. Again, that is a $70 game, but I wasn't crazy about Atomic Heart. Scars Above is at $18. Wolong Fallen Dynasty is at $19.99. Another game that just came out back in March. 3 months later, you're talking about getting it for a third. Yes, a third of its initial cost. That is the PS4 copy, but you can upgrade it to the PS5. That's a great deal. I mean, I'm not crazy about Souls-likes outside of, you know, the From Software games, and even those I don't get into as much as other people, but Wolong Fallen Dynasty for $19.99, that's a pretty darn good deal, given that that game just came out, so I would give that a look. I think that's a pretty decent pickup. One Piece Odyssey is $24.99. I've talked about One Piece Odyssey at length. Thought it was a really good game, and I'm not a big One Piece fan, but for a turn-based JRPG, I thought it was well made, and a lot of charm to the game as well, and if you're a One Piece fan, you're gonna probably doubly enjoy that game than I did. Wild Hearts is at $33. Again, another recent release, seeing a significant discount. What I played of Wild Hearts, I really enjoyed. I thought the gameplay was just really, really good. I didn't think the visuals were like blow away, like as a next-gen title, but I thought they were fine. Yeah, it's a game that definitely I gotta sit down and play a lot more of, because that's a game with a lot of content, but yeah, I had a good time with Wild Hearts for what I did play of it, so I would say, you know, at that price point, not a bad shout either. There's some other pretty decent deals, but those are the main ones I did want to cover. Star Ocean Divine Force is at $25, which is good. But yeah, the front page really had the best deals across this sale. And if you do have an Xbox, again, there's some good deals there if you do want to pick up, like, that Hogwarts Legacy deal is stellar. So that is something to have a look at as well if you do have an Xbox. And obviously they do have Nintendo Switch games, but, you know, not that much option as far as that's concerned. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you've had some interest in Forspoken, again, that $19.99 price tag is not too bad. RE4 Remake's great. Callisto Protocol, Dead Island 2, God of War obviously is a good buy. Atomic Heart, Wolong is a tremendous, tremendous deal. So that's another good one. One Piece Odyssey and Wild Hearts. Oh, and I should also mention New Tales from the Borderlands Deluxe Edition. That's at $9.99. Remember that gives you a voucher to get the original Tales from the Borderlands, which is excellent. That's really the draw here. New Tales from the Borderlands is like fine, it's whatever, but Tales from the Borderlands is tremendous, so that's a really good deal at $10. So that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.